lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels slow motion, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
I hope you're ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the got car restarts up we go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the very first edition of the Goat Locker Racing Glove Station ARCA series on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Riegel, and we're coming to you live, bringing you all the action, drama, and high-speed thrills from the world of virtual motorsports. Tonight, we're here to showcase some of the best drivers in the sim racing community as they take on some of the most challenging tracks in the virtual world. Whether you're a die-hard racing fan or new to the world of iRacing, you're in for a real treat tonight. These drivers aren't just playing a game, they're competing at the highest level of sim racing, where precision, strategy, and skill all come together to create some of the most exciting racing action you'll ever see. Tonight's race promises to deliver drama, speed, and a lot of unforgettable moments. With me in the booth tonight is my partner in crime, the voice of reason and the expert in all things racing, Mr. Jordan Brockell, and we'll be breaking down all the action, from the first lap to the final flag. We'll also be hearing from the drivers themselves as they battle it out for the top spots in the standings, but let's take a quick look at the hallowed grounds of Daytona International Speedway. These racers can push their machines to the limit on this storied super speedway as they get underway with the stakes higher than ever. Every move could mean the difference between victory and heartbreak. We'd like to thank you all for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, as we're here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And Jordan, it's about time you and I finally got back to the booth together and we get to celebrate a brand new season, a brand new series here on Sim Racing Media.
Davey, man, I've been waiting to get back in the booth with you here, especially for what I feel like is going to be like a mid-2000s feel here with these Gen 4 ARCA cars. You know, it's going to be loose, it's going to be fast, it's going to be crazy. We're going to see runs coming out of nowhere. We're going to see possibly even these things spread out a little bit, so I'm a little amped up. I haven't been in the booth for quite a good bit, but I'm back, I'm here, I'm ready to roll, and we're going to get these things fired up.
Yes, of course, we're here in the ARCA series, and the thing with the ARCA series is it's developmental. I mean, we look at it as something that's developmental in the racing world, but I'll tell you what, these drivers don't look at it that way. I mean, a lot of these drivers have put a lot of time in on the track, and of course, what we deal with every day on Sim Racing Media, this is something really special for us as we take a quick look. Now, it's going to be 50 laps when the green flag flies. Right now, it's 73 degrees outdoor ambient air temperature, 73 degrees on the asphalt, so plenty of grip in it for these Chevrolets that are all going to turn them loose tonight. Of course, you're going to see some interesting graphics, and folks, let us know what you see here, and let us know if you like it, what you don't like, what you do like. And we just want to be, thankful that you've all tuned in with us tonight as we get ready to roll. And here's the thing: we're very fortunate here at Sim Racing Media, of course, to have the sponsors that we do above the yellow line with Taylor Kitchen, and just a little peel back the curtain to start things off here, Jordan. This is actually the nucleus of how this all got together for this season, and. Taylor Kitchen, and I had a dialogue, and she put us in contact with the folks from here at Goat Locker Racing, and of course, the rest is about to be history. We can't wait to get things going, and so we want to thank her, and of course, we want to thank everybody at Goat Locker. They've been really great. What a great league. For lack of a better term, I think we had this discussion off air. They have their stuff together.
Oh, without a doubt. And I mean, just a simple conversation. A couple of days ago, just to kind of go over some things, and it was just like I was blown away. I didn't have any questions because they answered everything by just going over their lists of expectations and everything like that. And it's kind of easy when you have the answers to the test.
Yeah, that's no word of a lie. And one of the things that I think makes our relationship on basically a sim racing relationship work is the fact that, we all kind of work together. We all know that most of us have day jobs, and of course, they've been very understanding about that here, and I can't be more thankful for that myself, as, of course, we're now taking a look at Jonah Colbert, who's out on his qualifying run right now as he comes out out of turn 4 and across the start finish line. He goes P2. Eddie Smith lays down fast time at 49.97 in his ARCA machine.
Yeah, this 31 machine got that Oreo paint scheme, kind of look to it, from the junior days of the Busch series. Definitely, certainly nice. And seeing that 49.97, just got beat by Chuck Phelps with a 49.96. I mean, these things are flying around this track right now.
Absolutely. And as we mentioned, this is our maiden voyage with Goat Locker Racing and, of course, the Glove Station ARCA series. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in. We want to, make sure that everybody gets a little bit of screen time tonight. We're going to do our very best. And the other thing that we want to do is remind you that, of course, tonight is only week number 1. We've got a long season ahead of us as we take a look at that schedule. Real briefly here, we've got Daytona tonight, Homestead, Miami next week, then we go to Charlotte and Phoenix. And that's just the first 4 races of the season. So, Championship 4 going to be at Texas. We go from a round of 12 to 8. And we'll talk about all of that, as we get deeper into the season. And I'll tell you what, one of the things that I think iRacing does almost better than anyone is the fact that, you can customize darn near everything and really bring reality to life, if you will. As we've got about 30 seconds left in qualifying. Want to see if we can take a quick look here. If we can take a quick look here at Devin Smith, who's going to finish up the qualifying effort coming out. Probably isn't going to have enough time, but he's already gone 4th fastest. But 34 cars tried to lay down qualifying times tonight. Christopher Morse and Josh Lokenvitz have not gone out. As qualifying has concluded, let's take a quick look at that starting lineup as we get ready to roll. Starting on the front row, going to be Mike George as we get these things moved around here. Thank you very much for everybody's patience. Mike George is going to be on the front row in the 29 machine. He's going to be joined on the front row. And there they go. Thank you very much. Camera's not wanting to, the hotkeys not all perfect here for some reason, but Chuck Phelps going to be on the outside pole. Eddie Smith, as it dances away, going to be on the inside of row number 2. He'll be joined on row number 2 by Casey Jones. Devin Smith and David Calvert going to be in row number 3, while row 4 going to feature Chance Taylor and Brett Bieber. Of course, we'll get some of these cleaned up for you folks, as we've got to get through some of the data here tonight. Timothy Wilmus and Jonah Colbert going to be in row number 5, while Mark Cofield and Tyler Justice in row number 6. Row 7 going to feature Brandon Wallace and Daniel Cunningham, while Michael McCarthy and Alan Smith, I don't think it's that Mike McCarthy who just lost his job with the Dallas Cowboys, but Michael McCarthy and Alan Smith going to feature in row number 8, while row 9 is going to be Jeremiah and George Jewell. That's kind of an interesting look there for Jeremiah Holt as he's going to roll off in 17th. John Huchin and Jamie Libke going to be in row 10, rounding out your starting top 20, while Cliff Adams and Jake Ellingson going to be in row number 11. Row 12 is going to be Travis Bieber and Skylar Daly, as row 13 going to be Ricky Sisk Jr. and Josh Unger. We look deeper into the field yet with Logan Sturgeon and Doug Ellison, with Patrick Dixon and Nicholas Gibson in 31st and 32nd. Rolling off 33rd is going to be Sean Pope McCarthy, while Brian Frogger is going to be in 34th. Christopher Morse Jr. is going to be rolling off in 35th. And actually, I lie. It looks like maybe, as we wait for things to shuffle around, there's the 88. As that's going to be Chris Sawyer, Christopher Morse Jr., Josh Lokenvitz, and Andy Kurtz. That's going to be all of your... Jamie Perkins, Andrew Kearns, Timothy Wills, and Chance Taylor. Everybody already out on the track as we're getting ready to roll. Trying to get caught up here. There is a lot of data and a lot of new names for those of us here at Sim Racing Media. So, folks, I ask that you maybe give me a little bit of grace, if you will, tonight. Don't beat me up too hard. Still trying to learn the names. Big field tonight. Looks like it's going to be all 40 tonight, Jordan, as we get ready to head on down the back chute for that very first time.
Yeah, and I'm looking for these guys to be a little restless here to start. You know, first race of the season, first chance to really have some real racing, and you're gonna have people door to door and kind of pushing the limits early. You're gonna have some guys who are gonna be a little bit more conservative, but ultimately, I think we're gonna have some guys here that are gonna have some calamity early, simply just because you are gonna have those first race jitters, and I mean it's impossible to get away from.
First race jitters, not only for the drivers, but for a couple of us up here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank everybody for tuning in and making us a part of your evening as these drivers work their way through here. The iRacing.com pace car is bringing us down pit road. An interesting angle here, and I'm not sure what's going on with that, but we'll get that underway. I think it's just because there are so many cars tonight as we come out of turn number 4. And you know what that means. Here we go. The iRacing.com pace car gets ready to peel on down pit road. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your honey buns, some popcorn, and call a friend. Race fans, it's showtime! Green flag in the air, and off we go.
Yeah, we head off to that turn 1, and this is where we're going to see if anybody's going to really try to make any major moves here to start, because that's when you're going to get that first major, kind of draft there. You see some guys pulling away towards the front of this field already. It could be dangerous.
Now, I'm not sure if timing and scoring is accurate. We're going to pull that up here, as it looks like the 97 being scored in the lead with the 86. There's already cars down laps. And I'm not sure what that is. It seems like there may be something going on with timing and scoring. Perhaps the iRacing.com timing and scoring. So we'll have to check that out as we take a look here. Watch that low line. That's going to start to develop right here. That's Jonah Gilbert. Definitely something wrong with timing and scoring. I'll give him that.
Yeah, we're going to see these guys going to have to be a little more careful with these cars too. 31 gets up towards the wall a little bit there, but these things are going to be able to be pushed, like the Xfinity and, next gen car. They're not even. They're going to certainly get underneath somebody and kind of lift the tires there.
Something definitely not right with timing and scoring, as it looks like Mike George, our race leader, driving the number 29. He qualified P1. He's out here in the lead, and for some reason, timing and scoring has him running in 4th. I think it's trying to correct itself. Perhaps that's something that race control is doing. We're going to keep you updated, folks. Definitely something strange here.
There we go. I think we got it now. George showing in the lead with Feltz in 2nd, with Eddie Smith and Casey Jones rounding out 3rd and 4th right there.
Yeah, I was starting to get a little bit nervous. And, folks, here it is, first night jitters, 40 cars on the track. And here's the deal. These ARCA cars are going to run tight as a drum. Right now, these drivers have their feet mashed through the floor. They're trying to get a little bit of draft off each other. But they still have a lot more flexibility in the draft than some of, of course, even our next-gen Cup cars that came out a couple of years ago, back in 2022. These ARCA cars have a lot more freedom to draft. We're going to, here in the ARCA series at least, we're going to see a lot more of that. I can block 2 or 3 cars. Watch the 24 here. That's Devin Smith. Devin Smith actually, if the 34 had a little bit more room above him, he would be able to actually wiggle between. Wow, all of a sudden I say that, and bad things could have happened as he was dancing in front of Chance Taylor.
Yeah, and I noticed here around 20th to 21st, I want to say the first guy, 21st, they have a little bit of like a shuffle there where they kind of lost some time. They're gaining it back now, kind of bringing this pack back together, but certainly is for a moment there was a little, there's a car around in the back. I'm trying to see who it is. Looks like possibly Nicholas
Could
Gibson.
be Mark Holyfield Sr.
I know that I saw someone sideways in that at a place like Daytona. That's certainly not something that you want going upwards of 200 mile an hour.
Let's see if we can maybe, there we were, 3 wide. That could have been the 3 of Michael McCarthy back here. I don't see it quite yet. As of course it didn't register as as a crash.
Yeah, I want to say go back a little bit further. Look for Nicholas Gibson. I believe that's who I saw sideways off into the distance through turns 3 and 4.
We're going to run that back here and take a quick peek as we go to the Sim Racing Media replay. Let's see if we can find that. There we go. And as we bring it back live, or well, not live, but here in the replay, let's watch Gibson as my Eagle, oh, right across the nose. Yee! That'll do it. And then
that's a hard hit. Yeah, and it looked as such as he just tried to fit his car down to the bottom line. Still had a company there to the inside, and it just, you know, once you get tapped here, get a little bit squirrely sideways, especially here in these you know, ARCA cars. They're a little bit looser and a little more harder to manage. So once he got a little bit of a nudge there, it was just kind of game over along for the ride for him.
Yeah, and you know, these ARCA cars, to me, they almost look like sailboats when they start to go sideways. They really start to, you know, flutter in the wind, if you will. And, you know, that's something that we're going to be seeing all season long. And but the thing is, or at least, you know, from my money, what at least I like, is when I get to see some of these guys out here in their cars, I mean, you know, you're looking at guys who basically are holding on for dear life.
Well, so what you said sailboat, and you know what I always seem to look at these things. It's almost like they have the body roll of a limo. You know how you see those limos in the old 80s and 90s movies, and they take that turn, and the whole left side of the car or right side of the car just almost looks like it's going to touch the asphalt. That's how I feel like some of these things are sometimes. When they get squirrely and you try to make that corrective move or any of that, it has such a big body roll that it's almost impossible to hang on to.
Yeah, without a doubt, as we get some of these drivers, we're trying to update some of the, of course, now all 40 drivers in our list. There's going to be a little, I'm going to ask for, once again, maybe just a little bit of grace here as we try to clean up some of these names that, of course, you're going to see. And, unfortunately, we run into some really dumb stuff from time to time, and this is one of them. As I'm trying to get Casey Jones's number now, he's showing up as the 34 machine. And but of course you're looking at him, well, as a pro, and it's not pro that kind of pro like we have here in Philadelphia. But 6 laps in the books of 50. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Of course, we also want to thank our sponsors. And by the way, I did fail to mention this from the top, and I do apologize, as it was not my intention. But let's make sure that we can highlight this as well. I promise, folks, we will get this solidified. But, of course, our pole winner today is Mike George. And Mike George, driver of the number 29 machine, as we try to get... Now, come on. Again, folks, we're just trying to get all of this figured out for you, folks. And that doesn't work. That would help. Mike George is the Jam Printing and Promotions pole winner, if you will. Out of Plainfield, Indiana, they are local and veteran certified, and when they do well, they can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning. They provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company. The Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award goes to Mike George tonight. And like I said, I apologize for not getting that off the top, folks, as, of course, just trying to get things settled in. It doesn't help when timing and scoring didn't want to cooperate. But Mike George is going to lead us into turn number 4 one more time here on lap number 7. It'll be lap 8 when we go back green flag racing. Yeah,
still a massive amounts of time, and You know, we already saw them getting racy towards the back. And, I mean, it's only going to, start to pick up because it's not a ton of time. 50 laps sounds like a crap ton. It's only 100 miles, just over 100 miles. And these guys are going to go through that quick as that pace car makes that hard left turn. Going to set these guys free. They enter the restart box. George has control, and he is going to fire off. Doesn't look like he's taking off fast, but certainly these things got to wind all the way up. Takes about a full lap for these things to get up to speed, and once they're up to speed, it's game on.
That's one of the most interesting things that I see here, especially in the ARCA cars. They have such long gearboxes. And, of course, we're in a fixed setup, so everybody's going to have that same gearbox. So, all things considered, they've got a long time before they get that thing wound up all the way in fourth gear. As, of course, we also want to take a moment and recognize Save 22. As Save 22 is a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. They support those who have served our nation and communities by listening to their stories and providing unwavering support, ensuring they are never alone or forgotten. Our unwavering mission extends to several critical pillars, and we will cover those as we go side by side through the tri-oval. There's Mike George and Chuck Pegleg Phelps as they go duking it out. Watch the 87 of Eddie Smith as he now gets just up behind Mike George. The 34 of Casey Jones rides the high side. He's going to be pushing along the 75. That's Chuck Pegleg Phelps there in the 75. I can only imagine why his nickname is Pegleg, and I'm wondering if he drinks like a man with a wooden leg.
Either way, I mean, his right foot's got to be a peg leg, foot to the floor in these cars, getting all that he can out of that throttle. I'm sure if he could push it through the floor, he would push it through the floor to get just a touch bit more speed to get up there past George.
Brett Bieber sliding back here in the Sprite 808 machine as he took it 3 wide and then promptly bailed out. We see him sinking all the way back here in a 15th position. He started up at 8 but now goes almost side by side. There it is with the 73 of Jeremiah Holt. Jeremiah's going to slide on by. He must be having some kind of problem because now the meat and the sandwich is the 51 of Josh Unger. Still going 3 wide as the 808 of Brett Bieber seems to be having some kind of a problem. We go on board here with Bieber and one through the grass. There they go. Watch the 3 spin.
Upside down, more.
Oh my.
I don't even know where that started. I know it started up towards the front. I don't know who it started with, but certainly it went through the entirety of the field as cars up front were wrecking, cars in the middle were wrecking, cars in the back were wrecking. This certainly is going to be the big one for the time being. I mean, it could always be bigger.
Yeah, thank goodness it didn't take everybody out, but let's take a look here and see what happened as we go to the SRM replay. And, there it is. The 14 gets hooked by the 3 and sent spinning helplessly. Oh, my God. It's been a long time since I've seen somebody ride the safer barrier like that, and disappearing goes the 3. He immediately towed. Let's see if we can find this from the perspective of
and
the
the
14.
5. The 5 comes cartwheeling in, says, anything you can do, I can do better.
Well, looking to see if I can find the 14. There is Chance Taylor. Let's see what Chance Taylor had going on here. In the above the yellow line 14 machine. And there's the hook. And it sends Taylor down through the grass. I think Taylor got it better than, didn't get it near as bad as everybody else that was involved in that. That's going to trigger pit stops here as we're going to take one final look, if we can. And now, of course, it's not going to cooperate. Because there it is. Oh, replay controls, how I hate you. While these drivers are going to come down pit road, it looks like coming off pit road first is going to be Chuck Pegleg Phelps, as he's going to lead Casey Jones in the 34. Eddie Smith, Cliff Adams, Jamie Perkins, Travis Bieber, Josh Lunkovitz, Mike George, Sean Pope McCarthy, and Jake Ellington. And while they go through and hit up pit road, get that service, we're going to step aside here on Sim Racing Media, take our first break. I want to thank everybody for tuning in once again. And of course, I'm Dave Regal, he's Jordan Brockell, and this is Goat Locker Racing.
Thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, where you're watching the Glove Station Goat Locker Racing ARCA Series live here on Sim Racing Media. We're about to go back green flag racing after our second caution of the evening. Chuck Pegleg Feltz is set to take the green flag as he's going to be on the inside of row number one. He'll be joined on the front row by Casey Jones, Eddie Smith, Cliff Adams, Jamie Perkins, Travis Bieber, Josh Lokovitz, Mike George, Jake Ellington, Sean Pope McCarthy. That's going to be your top 10 as we'll go back green flag racing on lap number 14. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockell with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank you for making us a part of your evening. We want to thank our sponsors, of course, everybody here at Sim Racing Media, Goat Locker, and, of course, Glove Station. As we go out on our maiden voyage, you can tune in on Sunday night with us for Truck Series action. I can't wait for that one, Jordan, as you and I are going to be working every Sunday and Monday night for the next several weeks together.
There is no better place to be than right here next to you in this broadcast booth. I know we're not physically next to each other, but we might as well be based on our real locations. We're practically next door. But looks like they're waving off the green that time by. I'm going to get one more time around here. And, I'm looking here now, and I see about 5 cars that stayed out, didn't come in pit. That would be your Feltz, Casey Jones, Eddie Smith, Cliff Adams. It looks like Jamie Perkins as well. All stayed out there. So I wonder, how fuel mileage is going to work in here. And with these Gen 4 cars, how the tire model works with these, and are they going to have a lot of, that loose characteristic as they get deeper into this run?
Yeah, fuel mileage definitely going to play a major factor here as we get ready to go back green flag racing. We want to thank our friends over at Glove Station. At Glove Station, they're committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs, from tinkering on home DIYs to working in the industrial environment and everything in between. They've got us covered. With the endless amounts of safety products on the market, they want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. Head on over to Glove Station, of course, our primary sponsor here on the Monday Night ARCA Series. as Casey Jones is set to take us back to green. It looks like perhaps this could be interesting. We've had someone lose connection. It's going to move Eddie Smith up a row.
Yeah, it looks like peg leg belts lost connection there.
The iRacing.com pace car brings us down and out of turn number 4 as we head back toward the Geico restart zone. The iRacing.com pace car makes the hard left turn down pit road as Eddie Smith brings us into the restart zone. The green flag waves, and we're back underway at Daytona.
Yeah, he gets a massive jump, and that's not going to be what he wants there, because these guys, once they get caught up to him, they could go flying by, but looks like Casey Jones decides to tuck in behind him there instead. Looked like a little bit of a teammate restart there. I don't suspect that they're teammates. We'll figure out as we go on through this season, but definitely looked like some kind of teammate restart there.
They come out of turn number 2 and down the backstretch as they get up to speed here. Eddie Smith still in control of this race. Drivers just getting back up as these ARCA cars are already up to 180 miles per hour coming into turn number 4. And here's the thing. We talk about this all the time. When you compare these to, of course, the Cup cars or the Xfinity cars, you think to yourself, these aren't that fast. But I'll tell you what, 185 miles per hour coming out of turn 4 and through the tri-oval, you're holding on for dear life. And, God forbid that setup is just a hair loose. Bad things can happen to you.
And in a heartbeat. I mean, you'll think you're right on the edge of that grip amount. And then all of a sudden you'll jump that cushion and it's around. And in a place like Daytona, when you go around, you take everybody with you. I mean, we've already seen that just a few moments ago with that last caution we had.
Absolutely. Going on board here with Jamie Perkins as we go right here on the helmet cam. Here it is. Jamie Perkins out of Indiana holds up. I'll tell you what, we would hear this from Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the Dale Jr. download. That's a pretty wheel that Jamie's holding right now.
Yeah, maybe if I could hold a wheel that pretty, I wouldn't end up in the wall or in the grass as often as I do.
To be fair, it's more exciting to be here in the broadcast booth as we go under caution. Something's wrong again. Looking to see what happened here. I don't see any smoke. I don't see any fire.
I'm picking up something with Doug Ellingson.
I don't see anything wrong. Perhaps something here with Doug Ellingson. Let's take a peek. Here it is, Doug Ellingson. Take a look at the 58 car up against the wall. The 91 gets clipped by Ellingson, and it sends Ellingson a spinning.
Yeah, but for him, it's at least no harm, no foul there, as he doesn't make hard contact with much of anything. Car looks clean, maybe a little bit of a crinkle in that front, that right front, but other than that, I mean, looks pretty scot-free there.
Yeah, not a bad wreck at all. As we're going to see Ellingson come back on track here in this next shot, and watch the 91 again. 91 comes back down. I think that the 91 was probably trying to come back down and, get off the wall. I certainly don't see the 58 as being the kind of guy who's ready to, hook somebody.
No, certainly not. And it looked like he just kind of wanted to move out of harm's way and made that sudden move to the outside. I know I'm guilty of it on a number of occasions. You try to get to the outside because you see him kind of coming off the wall, and he hangs on to it a little bit better than expected, and he just kind of got into the back of him there a little bit.
Well, for lack of a better term, stuff happens as we work here on lap number 19, just about halfway through this piece. I'll tell you what, man, these guys are doing a heck of a job, and this is one of the things that I think we've come to know and appreciate at Sim Racing Media with so many of our leagues, and I think Goat Locker is going to fit in just fine with everybody. I mean, you always wonder, oh, gee, is this going to work? Is that going to work? Because we have so many different folks on Sim Racing Media. Of course, you can check us out 6 nights a week. You can check out our schedule on our Facebook page. We encourage that, as we get to see so many different types of racing, from late models to ARCA, trucks, Xfinity Cup, and of course we've got a couple of leagues that are a couple of our regular leagues that are in their off season right now. They'll be starting up next month, and hopefully we see them back on the air soon. Me personally, I can't wait to see a few of these guys. Sometimes I feel like we spend so much time with these drivers, Jordan, that I feel like, even though that we're separated by, well, you and I are only separated by one highway and a few minutes, but but for some of us, we have really close friends that just happen to be thousands of miles away.
Yeah, we are lucky enough to be a skip, hop, and a jump away from each other, but just in the general vicinity of SRM in itself, we have the brotherhood that we have here, and then we get to spread that out into all of these leagues that we're in. And I know there's a number of different guys that I've connected with and talked to throughout these leagues. So I mean, it's a continuously growing group of friends.
Yeah, and I think some of us have had a lot of great opportunities to get to know one another, both in person and here on the racetrack. We also want to thank Redbeard Design Company out of Greenfield, Indiana. They're veteran-owned and operated. Redbeard Design is a brand design and creative agency out of Greenfield, Indiana. They do brand identity, illustration, advertisements, apparel, packaging, and posters. They have designed all of GLR's logos since day one, so when you see GLR anywhere, you see a Redbeard design. As the iRacing.com pace car lights are out, that means we'll be getting ready to go back green flag racing. And just to finish that, just to put a punctuation on the end of our thought there, I think that we were very fortunate that we finally got a chance to hang out in Miami together a couple of months ago, and I find that so special that you and I get to sit here virtually next to each other, and it was like, hey, my BFF, my brother from another mother is right here, and I can finally shake his hand, give him a hug, and say what's up.
Oh, absolutely, and it just, the fact that we could even just, again, take that little bit of a ride and be right next to each other. I know I can't say let's go to an Eagles game because, your team's not playing anytime soon, but 95. But, we could still, catch up and everything like that. And then I believe Miami we're doing again this year, and it's a little bit sooner, or right after somebody's birthday. Yep. Not mine.
In any shape or form.
So,
by the way, as an aside, I have now officially been to an Eagles game against my will. The things
you need that.
Well, it was the things you do for love. That's all I'll say.
We're trying to bring you to the good side.
No, I'm fine. I'll just continue hating my football team. Cliff Adams brings us into turn number 4 behind the iRacing.com pace car. He's going to be joined by Travis Bieber, Josh Lokovitz, Casey Jones, Sean Pope McCarthy, Mike George, Jake Ellison, Matt Knights, Devin Smith, and George Jewell. That's your top 10. The iRacing.com pace car coming down out of turn number 4. A pair of Sprite cars. I didn't say that there were 2 of them. As they peel off, we come into the Geico restart zone. Cliff Adams mashes his foot through the floor, and we go back green flag racing.
Yeah, you see another kind of restart there where the leader takes off, and that second place car typically would kind of dive down, but he's going to fight on the outside there, get alongside there side by side, and one of these guys might actually even try to push it 3 wide if they get the right run here.
You have to be able to manage your runs. That's one of the most important things that you deal with at a super speedway. As we take a look at the 29, speaking of a run, that top side getting a lot of speed as we go high and wide. The 114 of Travis Bieber is now shoved by Casey Jones. And, the question that I've raised, and obviously Travis just answered this one for me, is when you're on that top line and you've got a good pusher like Jones behind you, do you wait until Jones is clear of that low line, or do you just kind of abandon Casey Jones And in this case, Travis Bieber said, no, screw this, I'm going down to the bottom. Now Jones is being pushed along by the 29 of Mike George. Mike George, the question becomes, is he going to have to clear the 114, or is Jones going to jump down in front of the 114 once they get the run? Speaking of the 14, take a look a little bit further here. The 14 machine, after being involved in the earlier wreck, is already back up into 6th position. So great recovery drive for the above the yellow line.
Oh, the 27. The 27 or 37. I missed it a little bit, but definitely to the inside there. Gets a nudge and gets loose. And to finish off your point there about, leaving someone high and dry or sticking with them, I feel like it's very situational where, Bieber, he stayed out there a lot longer than most people would if they were going to abandon their drafting partner. But he saw that the run was kind of fading and decided to take it upon himself to take that lead spot. And, it's up to Casey if it's going to be something that he pays back or if he just says it is what it is.
Absolutely. As Casey Jones hops on out to the lead here in the 34 machine, side by side with Travis Bieber, they come into turn number 3, and as they roll toward turn number 4, a run from Cliff Adams is coming. As currently Cliff Adams holding on to what is now 4th position, shuffles with Chance Taylor on the high side, just ahead of the 36. That's George Jewell. Tyler Justice. Who in the world is dropping back? That's the 5. Oh my. We're having some fun now.
Oh, big move!
Good gravy. That was by chance. We stay green, and there's the caution. I can't say I was expecting that at all.
I mean, these things are on the edge of out of control. I mean, I think the biggest thing to take in consideration with this car is the generation right before it were, the last of what I call the showroom cars. So, I mean, just a hard hit, and then the 11 grabbing the 808 there, too. But,
there's so much going on with that wreck that, of course, sometimes it makes the connections for the drivers really unstable. Of course, we won't have problems like that at smaller tracks.
It looks like I missed the car, the Tide car. It looks like he was missing a wheel there too, so he's limping that thing back.
Don't stain your ride. Use Tide. Halfway through this one, 25 laps in the books. Caution number 4. We're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, and he's Jordan Brockell, and you're watching our maiden voyage with Goat Locker Racing in the Glove Station ARCA Series.
can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
No back into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh my
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. John Hooch and Josh Unger, Jamie Perkins, Brandon Wallace, Chance Taylor, Mike George, David Colbert, Timothy Wilmus, Travis Bieber, and Tyler Justice. That's your restarting top 10 here with 24 laps to go. We're under the 4th caution. The green flag about to make its return. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockel with you in the Tony Trapassa Memorial Broadcast booth. You're watching Sim Racing Media and our maiden voyage with the Goat Locker Glove Station ARCA Series. Right here on SRM, the iRacing.com pace car peels on down pit road. We come into the Geico restart zone, watch the 51, and off we go.
Yeah, that's probably one of the fastest restarts we've seen here tonight, too. I mean, and he's getting a massive run. It looks like they're 3 wide already, 3 rows deep. Oh, and it's going to work out for them, but I mean, certainly going to be scary. He disappears a little bit there, too, so that's going to be terrifying for all those guys that are on that outside line. But, you know, now you see the 99 of Brandon Wallace, was kind of on his lonesome there as he gets put 3 wide by the 114 of Travis Bieber.
Now watch the 88. All of a sudden, or I'm sorry, the 99. We're sliding back forward. The 51 of Josh Unger slides right in front of the 29 of Mike George. That's your pole sitter, as he's going to hold on to the low side just ahead of the 34. That's Casey Jones running right now in 5th position. Travis Bieber leads the way here in the 114, the Valvoline machine, as he's got the 29 of Mike George pushing him from behind. But deeper back here in the field, all of a sudden things are getting a little chippy. We're going to go right here on board with the 97, and you're riding along with Lakeview, Michigan's George Jewell as he starts to draft up right behind the 33 of Tyler Justice. Now Justice here trying to hold on for dear life on the high side, running in 14th position. As he looks back, all he can see, and of course now it's not going, there it goes. Tyler Justice now has the 3 machine starting to creep up in behind him. That's Mike McCarthy just behind, as McCarthy runs currently in 17th position after qualifying in 15th from Matamoros, Pennsylvania. One of our fellow Pennsylvanians, Jordan. Oddly enough, I know where Matamoros is. It's in the upper right-hand corner of the state before you go to New York.
Look, see, for me, Pennsylvania is just Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Anything more, and I get lost. But you know, I want to go back and just say what a absolute power move by Bieber there, to take it 3 wide and clear both second and first, and take the lead here, and just show that when someone gets a little too far out or gets kind of left hanging, you get a massive draft. There's a caution out on the racetrack now. Not seeing anything. I see a bunch of red pop up here as we certainly see a lot of names come across here.
They're moving fast, as I believe this is going to be somewhere in and around Eddie Smith. Pretty deep back here. Let's take a peek. Watch the 87 of Eddie Smith. That's the Tide ride here in the foreground. Something just ahead of him.
Yeah, so he said, I'm getting out of Dodge and going into the grass, and you know, he'll be able to get those grass stains out with that Tide for sure.
Yeah, hopefully he brought the Tide pen to work today, that's for sure. As this happened just ahead of him, let's see what happened here. There it is. Oy vey.
Oy.
Well, you know, and here's the unfortunate thing. When these cars start to go, they're heavy. As I said earlier, it's almost like a sailboat. They look so graceful. You know, they're not near as vicious when they turn, like you see the Cup cars and the Xfinity cars, even the trucks to some degree. You know, those are like, you know, watch your face fly off speeds. But here, it feels so much more graceful, if you will. But in all honesty, it's not. It's incredible to watch these machines fly around the racetrack the way that they do, and you know, it's just so much going on. Of course, we want to thank our friends over at Jam Printing and Promotions. Of course, as I had mentioned, Mike George was the Jam Printing and Promotions pole winner. Out of Plainfield, Indiana, they're local and veteran certified, and when they do well, they can meet more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company. And of course, we want to thank our good friends at Glove Station. Here at Glove Station, we're committed to providing quality gloves and protective gear for a wide range of your daily activities and jobs, from tinkering on home DIYs to working in industrial environments and everything in between. They've got you covered. With the endless amounts of safety products on the market, they want to make it effortless for you to find the right protection for your needs. Glove Station. And of course, we want to thank Glove Station for being our title sponsor here in the ARCA series, as Travis Bieber is going to be our race leader when we go back green flag racing. 19 laps to go here at Daytona, and I'll tell you what, Jordan, we've seen some really good racing, and I mean, you know, nobody's running away with this thing, and you know, realistically, we've seen this a million times at Daytona. The race really doesn't start until there's about 4 and 3 laps to go.
Yeah, and you know, you had mentioned that they're getting a little chippy towards the back, and that's only going to continue to get a little bit worse, because you know, you can necessarily win this race from anywhere in the field coming to that white flag. You know, the entire field can be wiped out in front of you. But it definitely helps to be a little bit further up into that, you know, say top 10, so that you can move with, you know, each line and find the runs that, you know, are going to get you to the front. And you just have to basically have a little bit of luck and a little bit of prayer to make sure that you don't get pulled into anything. But, you know, the further front you are towards the end of this, you definitely raise your chances of winning this thing dramatically.
Without a doubt, as we get ready to rock and roll here.
You know, that's certainly a stat I feel like we should look up one time. I mean, we do so many Daytona races. You know, every series starts at Daytona. I want to know who the furthest in the field coming to the white flag has won a race. You know, is it somewhere as far back as 20th? Or is it somewhere that's not as impressive and only like, you know, someone from 10th? But certainly, any position right now with 18 laps to go, you can certainly win this thing, and you can certainly lose it in a hurry as well. But we've seen the 114. He's been strong all night long. The power move that he had on that last restart certainly showed that he's got no fear on going to the outside, throwing it 3 wide, and like George, pole sitter. It's a bad luck to start on the pole at Daytona. I mean, I don't think there's been a winner from the pole in just about any Daytona race that I've covered. So certainly could break that stigma there.
That's one of the interesting things that I've seen time and time again. Drivers who get the pole, they wind up with bad things happening. And Daytona and Talladega are those 2 tracks that we've all come to know. And don't get me wrong, I love them. But there are some folks that just absolutely hate it. And, all things considered, you either want to be way running in the back or leading up front as long as possible. As the pace car dives down pit road, Travis Bieber drops the hammer and off we go. Green flag in the air, 18 laps to go.
Yeah, he gets a massive jump out there. And that's kind of what we saw happen to that last restart. That he ended up taking it 3 wide and having that power move. But it looks like he's going to get the help from the 99 there a little sooner to keep himself out front.
The 79 of Josh Lokovitz, he starts to drift back into 5th position. Watching David Calvert here in the 16. The 16 with now Chance Taylor on the high side. Watch the 86. Now the 86 of Timothy Wilmus is going to be here drafting up behind, being pushed along now by Tyler Justice. Devin Smith in the 24. Mosa Machine rides the high side. Wow! That move was just this side of amazing. You couldn't have fit a sheet of paper between the 27 and the 79 when the 27 slid on down there. Opening the door now for the 14 of Chance Taylor to make Chance's way up here into 5th position. Jeremiah Holt running in the 73. Watch this, man. The 73 going to have to hold on here in that glove station machine. Woof. All of a sudden, the low line is getting one heck of a run.
Yeah, and those kinds of moves are going to be what's going to, ultimately determine a lot here. If you're too afraid to make some of those moves, I mean, you could lose tons of spots because you stayed in the line you were, but, you got to sometimes throw caution to the wind and just take that spot. If it fits a car, it fits a car.
Well, and the thing is, and we've said this so many times, you can't park there and you can't do this and you can't do that. Well, one thing you can do here is challenge everybody at all times. I mean, there's never a time at Daytona, once you're in the draft, that you're just riding along logging laps. I mean, your hands are busier than a one-arm paper hanger as we come down the backstretch and into turn number 3. The 97 of Mark Cofield starts to run here a little bit slower than the 33. Perhaps the 33 caught a little side draft. And now the 114 of Travis Bieber starts to extend here past Mike George.
Yeah, and I do not see that 114 leaving that bottom line for absolutely anything. I don't even think he'd move to just have a little bit of a block unless it's the final lap. He's going to stay glued to that yellow line, and it's going to be his yellow line, and no one else can have it. See George on the outside, still trying to just kind of creep by here, and the 34 all over the rear end of him right now, of Casey Jones, and that's what I was saying at the beginning of the show is kind of hard to push in these things because they don't, the bumpers don't line up. This is very old school style of car. He can easily get up underneath that rear bumper and take away all the drive that car in front of him has, and then he ends up running him over.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you're going to run into situations where it just seems like all of a sudden you wind up, you think that you've got all of the momentum, you think that you can swing it past, and all of a sudden it's like you stall out. And, it gets harder and harder. As we're side by side with 13 laps to go, we want to thank our friends over at McConey Setup Shop and Entertainment, the official setup shop of eNASCAR and the sponsor of the McConey Setup Shop C-Fix series on iRacing. They're the premier name in iRacing setup services and trusted by virtual and real-world professionals to get the job done. They're proud to continue to help thousands of iRacers hit the track with confidence, run at the front with our setups, learn from our setup guides and coaching options, look good in victory lane with their paint schemes, bring your league and special events to life with our broadcasting, or trust our professionals for anything iRacing related to tackle. At McConey Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories. We also want to thank Operation Valor Racing. They're a race team with the goal of fielding a truck next season in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. They are veteran-based and focused on helping veterans across all of the racing world. They are also heavily involved with many veteran nonprofits to raise awareness and funds. GLR is now partnered with them, and they are the title sponsor for the Friday Truck Series. 11 laps to go. Things are starting to heat up. And here at Daytona, you can tell the temperature of a race, and you can tell how close you are to the end when you start to see how close these cars are driving. Now, the 7 here of Alan Smith, we're going to watch Alan run here down the backstretch. There's a lot of real estate between he and Mark Cofield in the 97, and we're going to watch that just evaporate.
Oh, the 33 gets to the inside of the 97 there as you're saying that.
Oh, my. Yeah, there was a lot of real estate, and we go under caution for the 6th time tonight.
I see some scragglers in the back there trying to avoid a lot. Looks like Eddie Smith was in the grass again. Maybe not quite the grass, but certainly, again, I hope he has a Tide pad with him because, he's certainly going to need it. Got to keep that fire suit nice and bright orange.
One of the things that I always think about, especially now that I'm no longer a driver, and I haven't been a driver now for a couple of years, with the exception of one appearance earlier in 2024 on Sunday Night NASCAR right here on Sim Racing Media. Wow.
Ugh.
Nothing major. Nothing bad. Hurt feelings and bent fenders, but nothing crazy. But, one of the things that I watch and that it really has made me become more appreciative of what these drivers do every week on the track is, you're in that draft, you're in that situation, and there is no margin for error. Like an idiot, I went and ran the Coke Zero 400 with Sunday Night NASCAR Cup Series right here on Sim Racing Media. And, of course, that was the last league that I had run in before becoming a full-time broadcaster and a basically retired driver. And I had forgotten how stressful it was to be in the seat for the 400. It was like 3 hours. And I had never, by the end of that, there was just nothing but a cloud of vape smoke and sweat in my apartment.
Yeah, I keep thinking to myself that I'm going to do races that are much longer, and I keep thinking, like, I'm going to do a 24 and, 24 at Daytona, and I can't do it. I can't commit to it. I can't sit in front of it for 8 hours at a time, and I don't even think I'd make it through the first 15 minutes before ending up in the wall to begin with, so, it's definitely a struggle. And, I've done a number of full-length races, a couple of those special events for, like, Daytona 500. Got an NIS Daytona 500 win. Low split or not, I'm gonna hang on to that and wear that proudly. But the longer the race, the more tired I am at the end of it.
Well, one thing's going to lead to another here with 9 laps to go, and Travis Bieber, currently our race leader, leads Mike George, Casey Jones, Brandon Wallace, Chance Taylor, Josh Lokovitz, Jake Ellison, Devin Smith, Jeremiah Holt, and David Colbert. That's going to be your top 10 as we're just a few moments away from going back green flag racing. And What are you going to be looking for as we now go into the twilight of this race with what will be 7 laps to go when we go green?
Well, certainly, those guys that are, sitting outside some of those, like what we like to call the catbird seat, which for most tracks, the catbird seat's going to be the guy in third. But at places like this, the catbird seat's going to be the guy in third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, just kind of waiting to pounce on things. And it's you're going to see those guys kind of pushing to get up a little further towards the front. You're going to see these guys up front be a little bit more aggressive with blocks, maybe throwing blocks a little later than they should, and just basically having a little bit of a prayer that guy's going to have enough patience to kind of back off a little bit. So I expect we're going to have another caution, if not another 2 cautions, because, again, first race of the season, first race jitters. You want to start the season off on a high note. So you've got all of these, plus just the natural primal instinct of Daytona, winning at Daytona, no matter what car it is, what series it is, if it's a 5-lap race, a 500-lap race, whatever it may be, you want to win at Daytona. So you're going to see a lot of these guys really pick up the aggression here.
Absolutely. And, we talk about, 5 laps or 500 laps. Let's take one more look here as where do we go? There it is. Another look here at our, and all I'm asking for is that to come back. No, we can't pull that one off.
Maybe come back.
Our schedule here with Daytona tonight, and of course, it's going to be Miami next Monday night, Charlotte the week after. So that's the month of January already. So we're already looking at race number 2 next week, but let's see if we can finish things off here tonight as the iRacing.com pace car gets them racked, stacked, and ready to do it all over again.
Yeah. One that I'm circling on that schedule is going to be seeing these things at Watkins Glen. I think that's going to be where we see a lot of guys that may not, thrive early on in the season with some of these, intermediate tracks. We do have a short track in Richmond there. You're gonna see somebody that we may not see in those first 4 or 5 races really come to life at Watkins Glen, and put himself in a good position to make a charge for the playoffs here. And that's where I love this, because that's where the drivers are. We can run these ovals. You can find yourself in a win position, but you have to be good at a road course, especially a road course like Watkins Glen in this style of car where they're on the edge. Simply, you're basically out of control the entire race, because you've got to throw it around. And these things, when you throw them into the bus stop, they're gonna be airborne. You're gonna be sliding. And then, right out of that bus stop, you go into that little bit of a carousel. You have to try to carry high speed right there on the cushion of what the tire can handle. And, that's where you're going to see a driver come through and win there.
I think what my partner's trying to say is he's very excited to see ARCA cars at the Glen.
Yes. But I like to overanalyze and over-explain things, Dave.
That's your
we've
job.
Been through this before. That is my job.
That is your job. And you know what? Everything that you were saying about taking these things to the Glen just resonates so well with me. Because, don't get me wrong, I'm not a road course racer.
Nope.
In no way, shape, or form can I do that. And I've always been fascinated with those who can. I've always been very impressed with those who can do road course racing. In fact, during my racing days, that would suddenly be when I was sick. Speaking of sick, we're going to be 6 laps to go when the green flag flies. The iRacing.com pace car just peeled on down pit road. We hit the Geico restart zone. Travis Bieber drops the hammer, and off we go.
See, now this is where we might see Bieber kind of poke his nose or poke his tail up there in front of the 29 to give a little bit of a, hey, don't think about it, I belong here.
Well, this is what we're going to find out if the men are men and the goats are scared as we come into turn number 1. We watch the 99 hold on to the high side. That's Brandon Wallace. Mike George goes, our pole sitter now goes back into the lead. Casey Jones running in 4th position. Chance Taylor up 2, runs in 5th position, pushing along the 114 of Travis Bieber. And here we go into turn number 3. It's going to be 5 laps to go at the line. Driver's going to be a little bit chippy here as we start to drift a little bit further back. Here's Christopher Morse right in the thick of things. I mean, you know, we're looking at some, whoa, easy there, big fella. That's the 33 shifting lanes without warning anybody. Definitely no turn signal there. Jamie Perkins here in the 88 now looks on from behind, and it almost looks like maybe the rear of this pack maybe in a good spot here for the time being, because if something pops off up here around the 114 or the 79, watch the 99, you know, those drivers toward the back of the field, they could benefit from something bad happening.
Yeah, if I had to be honest here, I'd say with about 3 laps to go, we're going to see somebody pull off something that they probably shouldn't. Oh, we almost had it early there with the 14 on the tail end of the 27 there. But I'd say with 3 laps to go, I think we're going to see somebody pull something a little bit crazy. And maybe someone not expected and end up in the wall.
Getting a little bit closer, the 27 Lincoln Tech machine of Jake Ellison really starting to wobble here in the middle of this. 4 laps to go. Oh, boy. Watch him.
Yeah, certainly getting more door-to-door than we've been all night. Not giving any kind of inch there. Side drafting like crazy, trying to find any bit of run that you can. The 114 of Bieber stuck in the middle now. We're almost 4 wide there. For a moment, the 79 gets kind of bullied out of that position there.
The 79 gets shuffled now way back in the field. All the way back to 15th now. The battle still rages up ahead. 3 laps to go. Mike George, your race leader. He was your pole sitter earlier on. He's finally let the cream rise to the top. He's going to be side by side with the 114. The Valvoline machine. Chance Taylor runs in 4th position, pushing along Jake Ellison. And things are about to get spread out as no one's sitting high, wide, and handsome. The 114 gets shuffled back. Uh-oh. This is going to be trouble. Near contact between the 16 and the 14. Here they come flying out of turn number 4 back toward the front stretch. Everybody's going to hold on tight. Keep your cookies in order. We cross the start-finish line. The popsicle sticks go in the air. We're 2 laps to go.
Yeah, a lot of shuffling. And he's in the wall. The 24's in the wall. I don't know who was with him. It looks like the 34 still green. Now we're yellow.
And the caution comes out. That's going to trigger NASCAR overtime. And Mike George was just hauling the mail.
Yeah, and it looked like one of the guys that ran up front all night, the 34 of Casey. Casey Jones was in that. Trying to see a 24 machine of Devin Smith as well in that. Looks like those two were the lead cause there for that.
We're going to go back to the SRM replay here.
You see side by side the 24, 34, and then of course they get into each other. And once those cars lose all that momentum, everybody freight trains to them, and it's just nowhere to go. Somebody on the roof, looks like the 51 machine, going for a ride there.
Yeah, you know what? I'm curious. We're going to see if we can find it. That's Josh Unger in his number 51 machine. Let's see what happened from his perspective, because I think he took the greatest lick of the evening. Watch the 51. Scrape. Off. Yeah. The flaps on that thing weren't going to help, that's for sure. And then to add insult to injury, comes down and gets doinked twice and back on the wheels.
Yeah, he looked like the ball in a game of Pong there.
That looked like a Mario Kart move if I ever saw one.
He certainly didn't have the star power up, that's for sure, because it didn't help him any.
Well, folks, that's going to trigger NASCAR overtime, and if you haven't seen that before, what NASCAR overtime is when we go back green flag racing, we'll have 2 laps to go. When the green flag flies, we will race around back to the white flag. If an incident should occur and we go under caution, we will rack them, stack them, and do it all over again. However, once the white flag flies, that means that we will race all the way back to checkers, and that means also that the next flag will end the race, whether that flag is yellow and the field freezes or checkered, and we get to crown a victor tonight here at Daytona International Speedway. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockell with you here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank everybody for making us a part of their evening. We want to thank you for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, and wherever you may be watching and listening. Rusty Rafferty in our YouTube.com live chat. Who doesn't like a double doinking? I gotta be gotta be honest. I don't think you want a double doink if you're the Chicago Bears, or if you're on the racetrack tonight.
Oh man, the double doink. Good old Chicago.
Of course, last night the Washington Commanders won on an accidental doink.
You know, I didn't even catch that. I knocked out so fast last night. I woke up and I had no idea who had won.
Well, it was kids' weekend here at my house, so I had the young'un over. So I was definitely toward the edge of exhaustion. I can
certainly say go Birds.
Did you cough there? Or?
Go Birds.
73 days to opening day of baseball season. Mike George leads the way with Brandon Wallace, Travis Bieber, Jake Ellison, David Colbert, Chance Taylor, Timothy Wilmus, Sean Pope, McCarthy, Tyler Justice, and Christopher Morris Jr. That's going to be your restarting top 10 as we go double file, Noah's Ark style 2x2, please. As the iRacing.com pace car lights go out, that means that we will be green flag racing this time by. And of course, we also want to tip our cap to Save 22 Vet. As I pull that up, there it is. Save 22 is a 501c3 organization dedicated to preventing suicide among veterans, active duty personnel, and first responders. We support those who have served our nation and communities by listening to their stories and providing unwavering support, ensuring they are never alone or forgotten. They follow 4 critical pillars: shield, assist, volunteer, and educate. They protect veterans and first responders from suicidal thoughts, creating a strong support system to help them find hope. They also build positive relationships with organizations to assist those seeking help. And finally, they also create outreach programs to reach at-risk individuals, especially those unsure of where to seek help. And finally, they empower local organizations and leaders with training and resources for suicide prevention. And of course, we've all known or been touched by mental health, and of course we all have at least 1 degree or 2 degrees of separation between us and somebody who is a first responder or a veteran. And of course we always want to salute our veterans here on Sim Racing Media, as we are veteran owned and veteran staffed in many cases, between veterans and first responders. Mike George going to lead us back to the green flag. Brandon Wallace here in the 99 to the outside. It's going to be a shootout to the end. What do you think, Jordan?
I mean, if I had to give my honest opinion, I feel like I like where Jake Ellingson is and Chance Taylor. You know, they're right there on the outside. They're not the leading 2, so they don't have to worry about getting jumped. And then, if anything happens, those 2 are going to be right there as that pace car makes that hard left turn. We're going to see Mike George fire off. Travis Bieber right in tow as well, as he has been all night long. These 2 get a big jump, and that might actually work out well for those on the outside if they could stay together.
And here they go, a 3-car, almost 4-car breakaway. The 29.99, 114 of the 27, getting ready to do-si-do with those drivers. Chance Taylor running side by side with the 86 of Timothy Wilmus, who now starts to work his way up through the field. The 16 of David Calvert also moves in. All of a sudden, we have a five-way battle for the lead here on opening night at Daytona. 2 laps to go. Mike George leads the way. Watch the momentum of the high line. There's going to be a big move. They just had all kinds of energy run through that upper line as they go 3 wide. Watch that back there. The 28 machine, the Texaco Haviland machine, as we come out of turn 4. And caution number 8.
Yeah, and just before that, I saw the 14. He had such a massive run with the 33 right on his tail. And he kind of checked it up there to keep from going to the outside. Didn't want to pull a move yet. And the 97 gets the apron. 7 nowhere to go. And then, it just kind of you're all racked up, stacked up. And, everybody just kind of turns into, the pool balls on the table.
Well, that's going to be caution number 8 for the evening. And this will be our second attempt at NASCAR overtime. So while everybody gets themselves racked, stacked, and ready to do it all over again, we were only, maybe 100 yards shy of the start-finish line. We nearly had the opportunity to finish this one out. But before we go, we're going to take one final step aside here and hear from one of our fantastic sponsors. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, and we'll be right back.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
later. Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it. They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway, where Mike George is going to lead us back to green as we're under NASCAR overtime conditions. Brandon Wallace in the 99 sits to the outside. The 114 of Travis Bieber, my goodness, Travis Bieber, I can do this. Jake Ellison, Chance Taylor, David Colbert, Timothy Wilmus, Tyler Justice, Jeremiah Holt, and Sean Pope McCarthy. That's your top 10. You're watching the Glove Station ARCA series from Goat Locker Racing live here on Sim Racing Media. We want to thank everybody for tuning in over on the youtube.com live chat. Want to make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications so you can be notified every time we go live.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, that they delayed the green that last time by. The lights came back on the pace car. Imagine you're ready to go and you're ready to roll, and then you have to bottle it back up for one more pace lap. That's going to build this intensity here even more, because you're cutting your patience just a touch, and everybody gets in that little bit of a zone just before going green, and then you got to get out of it. And now everybody's currently trying to get back into that same mindset, and it's going to be go time. And I still don't think we're done. I think we have one more wreck here that's going to happen because of that drive that everybody's going to have here.
Why you gotta jinx it? Why you gotta jinx it?
Look, I'm just supposed to be up here to speak my mind and my thoughts on the race at hand. That is my thoughts. My now thought is how that pace car is going to make that hard left turn. Mike George is going to lead these guys back towards the start-finish line to turn this thing back to green. He's going to get a big jump there as once again, Travis Bieber all over the back end of him. Those two kind of take a massive lead there. The 99, Brandon Wallace dives into in line there with them.
As we watch Travis Bieber out of Olney, Pennsylvania, chasing down Mike George, the question is, how does he get his run and how does he get around George? He's got the 99 and the 27 of Jake Ellison behind him, the 99 driven by Brandon Wallace. All of a sudden, Travis Bieber is hooking his little red wagon to the 29. Oh, the 99 gets...
Speaking of hooking.
Up into the wall. We stay green. He sticks it to the wall and stays out of the way, and there's the caution flag.
We are not done yet.
Oy vey. And that will freeze the field effectively, as this now brings up the final lap. So your race winner going to be named Mike George, followed by Jake Ellison, and third place going to be Travis Bieber. Mike George wins from the pole, effectively breaking that stigma. Jake Ellison out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, or Milwaukee, as Alice Cooper called it. Driving the number 27 and out of Olney, Pennsylvania, representing the 610 is Travis Bieber. Don't worry, there's a story behind that. But the focus tonight is going to be on our race winner, Mike George, as he's going to lead this field back around to the checkered flag.
Yeah, and I mean, good run by the 114 and the 27 there of Bieber and Ellingson. 20 positions up from where they started, and yeah, that's not easy. It's not easy to find their way through through traffic. We did have some major ones here, but to still find your way through traffic and work yourself up, it's still something to hang your hat on and be proud of.
Without a doubt, as Mike George brings it around, the iRacing.com pace car picks everybody up. Your top 10 going to be Mike George, Jake Ellison, Travis Bieber, Chance Taylor, Tyler Justice, David Calvert, Josh Lokovich, Sean Pope McCarthy, Timothy Wilmus, and Cliff Adams. So a good finish for a lot of these drivers. Unfortunately, not the photo finish that we've all come to know and sometimes fear, if you will, at Daytona. But Mike George gets to celebrate here as he gets a little bit of a love tap there from the 29. I'm sorry, from the 14.
Yeah, and I mean, he found his way up there, after, kind of falling back just a touch, and, took that pit stop, ended up about 6th, 7th place, still stayed up towards the front, found his way there, and, showed that you can win from the pole at Daytona. And I mean, there's no better way to start the season than to start on the pole and then win the race. I mean, you go in with the most amount of points you could possibly think of.
Gonna see if we can get these drivers to move on into the broadcast waiting room if they haven't done so already. And I haven't seen them move up just yet. Drivers, if you folks are listening, if your top 3 can come to the broadcast booth, Mike George, Jake Ellison, and Travis Bieber, if you can come into the broadcast waiting room, we would greatly appreciate it. I can't see any of the drivers. I'm not sure if they're just not here in their Discord. But I certainly don't want to start week 1 without an interview of our top 3. Mike George getting ready to celebrate here as he's going to burn it down at the start-finish line.
Doing the old classic Dale Sr. through the Daytona logo and everything, which is one of those things you look forward to if you can pull off a win here at Daytona, to just kind of throw it around the Daytona logo.
As we're still waiting for these drivers to come here into the broadcast waiting room in Discord. Drivers, if you're paying attention, we'd greatly appreciate it if you could come on in. And while we have the opportunity and we're waiting for those folks to come on in, we'll take one look here at our race results. And good Lord, it's been a wild one. As we take a look here, Mike George brings home the checkered flag. Up there's Travis Bieber popping in. We may have to do this 3-2-1. And in fact, I think that's what we're going to do. Hey, Travis, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do. How's it going, Dave?
First of all, Travis, I'm fantastic. Out of all the people that I could possibly be interviewing for our first time here at Goat Locker Racing, I am also from that neck of the woods, if you will. Grew up in Burnville myself.
Hey, nice. I love it.
Well, listen, man, you ran a heck of a race tonight. Talk about what brought you through here in this race and how you found yourself in third. I mean, you were fighting it out all night in the Valvoline machine.
Yeah, really good run. My teammates had a lot of trouble. And what actually got me up front was I was kind of biding my time, and I got spun on lap 5 down the backstretch all by myself. Drove around, caution came out, pitted, and next thing you know, I was up in the front. So, sometimes it just works out that way. But once I got up in the front there, I had the track position I needed, and I could make the moves to stay up there.
Yeah, I mean, you seemed to find yourself once you got back through all of the traffic. It seemed like you did nothing but float around in that top 5. And unfortunately, the way that the race ended, I thought that maybe you had enough there in the tank to try to get around George at Mike George at the very end here, but unfortunately, just not enough to get it done. But all things considered, though, still a heck of a race there for the 114. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank, and who helped you get it done tonight on the 114 team?
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I just want to thank my teammates, my BKM guys. Tough night tonight, but we'll be back next week. And want to thank some of the league sponsors, Above the Yellow Line, Sim Motion, and the title sponsor of our ARCA series. So things. This was a great first run tonight, and excited to get the season going.
Absolutely. All right, buddy. Well, listen, congratulations on the P3 finish. Go ahead and grab yourself some icy tea and relax the rest of the night and celebrate with the teammates.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. That, of course, the voice of our P3 finisher. And next up on the podium, Jordan, I think you have him with you, Jake Ellison.
Jake Ellison, it's Jordan up in the booth. You got a copy.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, man. So you come in here, you start towards the middle of the field, about 22nd, find yourself up 20 spots, finishing in P2 here tonight. I mean, that's got to be something pretty good to hang your hat on.
It was pretty good. I wish it would have went green out to the end, but we had that caution in that last green white checker. I had a great run on the outside coming, to the white, but things happen. We'll take away a second place finish and clear the slate and move on to next week.
And it seems to be how these things kind of play out. You tend to be right there, and something gets in your way that's out of your complete control. And, that's just the nature of Daytona. But, you go into next week, you're sitting, second place in points after the first race of the season. And, you got to build off of that momentum. And, what's that do for the, just the rest of the season in general?
It's just the first race of the season. I kind of don't put too much stock into Daytona, but it's always good to get a podium finish in any race to try to move momentum for the rest of the season. But in my beliefs, real racing starts next week, so we'll see what we can do and see how we can continue those points lead in the coming weeks.
Yeah, certainly, you head to Miami. It's going to be a fun track for these Gen 4 ARCA cars. Going to be loose, out of control, and we look forward to that. And, there's got to be a group of guys that, help you get this done. You want to give them a nice little bit of shout out?
Definitely. I got to thank Jam Printing Promotions. I got to thank Glove Station for sponsoring the ARCA series here. I definitely got to thank you guys at SRM for coming on board and doing the broadcasts for the Sunday night trucks and tonight the Monday night ARCA series. And then I got to thank Alexander PCs. Definitely got to thank my teammates at GLR for everything that they do and help with. And then I definitely have to thank my 3 beautiful daughters and my wonderful, beautiful wife for allowing me to have the time to come out and have fun with you guys.
And we certainly thank you for your time, and we look forward to maybe speaking to you again next week.
Hopefully. We'll see what happens.
All right. Good night, brother.
You too.
That the voice of Jake Ellison, and one final interview tonight. Our amateur competition winner, David Calvert, driver the number 16. Hey, Dave, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me.
Hey, Dave. How are you? I'm Dave.
Dave is Dave. Listen, man, you had a great race tonight, and taking that AM win up here is a great way to start your season. How does that feel to notch that already in your belt?
Well, I mean, it's my first one about this for, I guess, about a couple of seasons now. So, I mean, I know it's Daytona, and it's not some of it's just luck of the draw, but I'll take it.
Yeah,
I felt like I just tried to stay clean most of the time and stay out of trouble and hopefully hang around towards the end.
hey, that's what every driver says about Daytona. Stay clean and stick around toward the end, and you've got a chance. And you did that tonight, coming home in sixth position. It's a great way to get your, the USMC machine going for the season. What are you looking forward to as we head to Miami next week?
Well, I'm hoping to, learn to be a little bit smoother, patient. I mean, patience is really something that's sometimes really hard to do, at least consistently. So I got to kind of consistently tell myself to slow down and not overdrive things. So I'm hoping this is a good start to it, and I got some momentum.
Absolutely, man. Well, listen, congrats again on the AM win finish tonight. And before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and who helped you get it done on the 16 machine?
Well, first I'm going to thank my wife because she lets me do this, and she doesn't give me too much grief about it. So thanks to her. But I do want to thank, iRacing and Lincoln Tech, the Save 22, the Veterans Affairs, Above the Yellow Line. They all do a lot to put all this stuff on, so it doesn't get unnoticed. And I know a lot of people put a lot of effort and a lot of work in this to make Goat Locker Racing the way it is. And it's the first thing I came into when I came in, and they've kind of been great. No push, just have fun. And I couldn't be more thankful for how they've done this, and they've done as professional as you can get it. So thank you to everybody who puts all this effort into it.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, congratulations again on the AM win, and we'll see you next week in Homestead, Miami.
All right. Thank you, Dave. Y'all have a good night.
You as well, as we move him back down. I'll tell you what, man. It's been an exciting night tonight, Jordan. And, of course, next week we get to go to a place that you and I know very well, and I can't wait to be able to share that with our fans and with our viewers. But before we turn our attention to South Florida, let's take one final look at our results here. Live from Daytona International Speedway, Mike George brings home the checkered flag. He's followed by Jake Ellingson and Travis Bieber on the podium. Chance Taylor comes home in fourth with Tyler Justice rounding out your top five. David Colbert gets the AM win for the evening, finishing in sixth position with Josh Lokenvitz finishing seventh. Sean Pope McCarthy, Timothy Wilmus, and Cliff Adams round out your top 10, while George Jewell, Brandon Wallace, Alan Smith, and I've got to change that one too. That's going to be Brett Bieber. There we go, in the 808, finishing in 14th. Eddie Smith comes home in 15th with Jamie Libke in 16th. Chuck Phelps in 17th, and Matt Knights in 18th. We go a little bit further down here, and Andrew Carnes finishes in 19th with Mark Cofield, making up your top 20. Jordan?
Ricky Six going to come in 21st with Casey Jones coming in 22nd. Devin Smith and Jeremiah in 23rd and 24th. Christopher Morse Jr., Logan Sturgeon going to be 25th and 26th. Jamie Perkins and Daniel Cunningham going to be 27th and 28th.
Making up the rest of your field this evening as we get that rotated. Here we go. 29th is Nicholas Gibson with Josh Unger finishing in 30th. Mark Hollifield Sr. comes home in 31st with Skylar Daly in 32nd. Andy Kurtz, Michael McCarthy, that is, Patrick Dixon, John Hookshin, Jonah Colbert in 38th. Then we get all the way down here, finishing last in the field, Doug Ellingson and Brian Froeger. Well, for myself, Dave Regal, and my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Mr. Jordan Brockell, we have to say that it's been an exciting evening to open things up here in Goat Locker Racing on Sim Racing Media. We look forward to working with you and, of course, smoothing out some of the wrinkles that we found this evening. But, we can't always come out here running like crazy, can we, Jordan?
No, can't be crazy, but, we'll get everything kind of tightened up, and I think we have a good season going here, and I look forward to Miami next week. Like I was talking about, the things are going to be on the edge, and we're going to see some multi-groove racing, and quite different from what we got here tonight.
Without a doubt. So one more time for myself, Dave Regal, and my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Mr. Jordan Brockell, we want to thank you for tuning in this evening and making us a part of your evening. This has been a production of Sim Racing Media, and of course, our good friends at Goat Locker Racing and Glove Station, ARCA Racing. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.